Hi everyone, this is Sam with the Wine News in 5. First, a reminder that coming up on Sunday, November 16th, we have our 25th anniversary event in London. We've only got a couple tickets left, so if you'd like to come, please get your tickets now. In terms of global news, today I'll discuss estimates for global wine production in 2025, a proposal for updated rules in the EU's wine sector, the world's lightest burgundy bottle, 80-year-old tawny port, and the struggles of the UK hospitality sector. First up, estimates for global wine production in 2025. On November 12th, the International Organization of Vine and Wine, the OIV, which is an intergovernmental organization with 51 member states, published its first estimates for 2025 global wine production. Wine production is forecast to be 232 million hectoliters globally, which is a 3% increase on the historically low 2024 harvest, but is 7% below the 5-year average. The OIV noted that climatic variability remained the dominant factor shaping global wine production in 2025. Italy remains the world's largest producer with a forecast 47.3 million hectoliters, followed by France at 35.9, Spain at 29.4, the US at 21.7, and Australia at 11.6. Since the OIV has released their report, I've read a handful of articles stating that with the global downturn in wine consumption, reduced production will help balance the market. And that's true to an extent. However, I do want to point out that with smaller yields due to challenging vintages, which was the case in France and Spain in 2025, production costs increase. If yields continue to be low due to climatic challenges, producers have to raise their prices. So reduced yield is only really positive on a macroeconomic scale if it's temporary. On to a proposal for updated rules for the EU's wine sector. On November 6th, members of the European Parliament's Agriculture Committee voted to update labeling laws, make more aid available for EU wine producers, and put in place measures that allow the EU Commission to quickly respond to market fluctuations. In terms of labeling, wines that are under 0.05% alcohol will be allowed to be labeled alcohol-free. Wines between 0.5% and 30% lower than the standard for their category can be labeled reduced alcohol. Though not all wine producers are pleased with this. The Secretary General for the European Committee of Wine Companies, which is the CEEV, Ignacio Sanchez Ricarte, told Just Drinks that the term reduced does not translate well into Italian or Spanish. He's hoping that during a meeting scheduled for December between the European Commission, the Council of the European Union, and the European Parliament, the CEEV can convince legislators to eliminate the term reduced and replace it with low alcohol or lower alcohol. In terms of more aid being made available, the ceiling for national payments supporting crisis distillation and green harvesting will be raised from 20% to 30% of each member state's available funds. In the case of a natural disaster, producers eligible for EU sectoral funding are granted an extra year to plant or replant authorized grapevines. Finally, in the case of market disturbances, the EU Commission will be authorized to suspend imports or introduce temporary voluntary production reduction schemes. Next, the world's lightest burgundy bottle. On November 13th, Vitisphere announced that glass manufacturer Veralia has released the world's lightest burgundy bottle. It weighs only 300 grams. This bottle joins Veralia's 300-gram Bordeaux bottle, which launched in 2023. On to 80-year-old tawny port. I have to apologize. I completely missed this news. In January of this year, tawny port with an average age of 80 years, which used to just be labeled VVO for very, very old, became eligible to be labeled as 80-year-old tawny. This follows on the heels of the establishment of 50-year-old tawny port in 2022. The categories of 10, 20, 30, and 40-year-old tawny port were already established back in 1973. There isn't currently a 60 or 70-year-old category. Now, the reason I discovered this was because I received an email about Kopke's first ever 80-year-old tawny, to which I said out loud, that's just VVO. Alas, I was behind. Taylor Fladgate released their first bottling of 80-year-old tawny in March. Grams followed in April. Sometime between then and now, both Quinta das Carvalhas and Quinta do Valado have released 80-year-old tawnies. If you happen to have tried any of these, please let us know how they were in the comments. Jancis has tasted the Grahams and Julia has tasted the Taylors, and each has been awarded very high scores. Finally, the struggles of the UK hospitality sector. On November 10th, 345 hospitality businesses signed an open letter to Chancellor Rachel Reeves. The letter states, "Today, hospitality has the highest tax bill in the economy. The impact has been immediate, concentrated, and socially regressive. Over 80,000 jobs have been lost, and nearly 6 in 10 hospitality businesses are pessimistic about the sector's prospects over the next year." These businesses are asking for lower tax rates for hospitality businesses, the introduction of a lower national insurance contributions band, NICs, for employees that are earning under a certain amount, and or the exemption of part-time workers, and also cutting VAT, value-added tax, on hospitality businesses. We'll see if their demands are met in the upcoming budget due on November 26th. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. I'll be on a plane to Australia this coming week for my Master of Wine seminar, so I won't see you again until the 28th. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please become a member of jancisrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email me at news@jancisrobinson.com. Thanks.